On March 31st, one of reality television's most polarizing families returns to the spotlight, and according to early previews and reporting surrounding the new season, the emotional stakes may be higher than ever before. After years of cultural clashes, fractured relationships, and public scrutiny, the Plath family is once again opening the doors to their complicated world as the new season of Welcome to Plathville prepares to premiere. For viewers who have followed the story from the beginning, the upcoming season promises something the series has been slowly building toward for years, a moment of reckoning. In the trailers released by TLC, viewers see glimpses of difficult conversations, emotional ultimatums, and family members openly questioning whether reconciliation is even possible anymore. And at the center of that tension are the people who made the show a phenomenon in the first place, parents Kim Plath and Barry Plath, along with their now-grown children navigating adulthood, independence, and the lingering weight of their upbringing. For years, the Plaths were introduced to audiences as a tight-knit family living on a rural Georgia farm, raising their children with strict rules that kept them largely separated from modern culture. But as the series progressed, the carefully constructed family structure began to unravel. Marriages ended. Siblings drifted apart. And what once looked like harmony revealed layers of disagreement, pain, and unresolved conflict. Now, with the premiere of Season 8 scheduled for March 31st, the question hanging over the series is simple, but deeply consequential. Can this family survive the emotional ultimatums that appear to be coming? Or are viewers about to witness the most dramatic turning point in the history of Welcome to Plathville? Because if the early footage is any indication, the upcoming season may not just revisit old wounds, it may force the entire family to confront them head-on. And that's exactly why millions of viewers are preparing to tune in. To understand why this moment matters and why the new season is generating so much conversation across social media and entertainment media, you have to step back and look at the long, complicated story that led here. When Welcome to Plathville first premiered on TLC in 2019, the show immediately stood out from other reality television programs. At a time when many reality series focused on celebrity lifestyles or dramatic competition formats, the Plath family's story felt very different. The series introduced audiences to the large family living on farmland in rural Georgia, where parents Kim and Barry Plath raised their 9 children under a strict set of rules shaped by deeply held religious and cultural values. According to interviews given during the early seasons, the Plath children were raised with limited exposure to mainstream media, modern technology, and popular culture. Sugary snacks were restricted. Television and movies were largely absent. Even everyday experiences, like listening to pop music or using social media, were off limits. At first, the family's lifestyle intrigued viewers. Some admired the simplicity of their rural life and the emphasis on family closeness. Others questioned whether such strict limitations could realistically prepare the children for adulthood. But it wasn't long before the show's central tension began to emerge. As the older Plath children grew up and started forming relationships outside the family structure, their upbringing collided with the realities of modern life. One of the earliest flashpoints involved Ethan Plath, the oldest son featured prominently in the series. His marriage to Olivia Plath introduced new dynamics that quickly became central to the show's narrative. Olivia, a photographer who grew up in a conservative environment herself, gradually began speaking openly about her struggles with the expectations placed on her within the Plath family. As the seasons progressed, tensions between Olivia and certain members of the family became one of the defining storylines of the show. For viewers, these moments revealed something deeper than simple reality TV conflict. They showed the painful process of a family trying to navigate change. And change was coming quickly. Over the following seasons, several of the Plath children began moving away from the farm and pursuing their own paths. Micah Plath explored modeling opportunities and life in larger cities. Moriah Plath pursued music and a lifestyle far removed from the strict rules she grew up under. Meanwhile, cracks began appearing in the marriage of Kim and Barry Plath themselves. In 2022, the couple publicly confirmed they were separating after more than 2 decades of marriage. For longtime viewers of Welcome to Plathville, The announcement marked one of the most significant turning points in the show's history. The separation forced the family to re-examine the very foundation of the lifestyle they had promoted for years. And it set the stage for the emotional shifts that would define the seasons that followed. Now, with Season 8 scheduled to premiere on March 31st, previews released by TLC suggest that the next chapter of the Plath family story will focus heavily on unresolved tensions that have been building for years. In early promotional footage and press coverage surrounding the new season, several themes have already begun to emerge. One of the most significant appears to involve growing divisions among the siblings themselves. As the Plath children move further into adulthood, they are making life decisions that don't always align with the values they were raised with, or with each other's expectations. In particular, viewers have noticed emotional moments involving Lydia Plath, who has often been portrayed on the show as one of the most deeply religious and family-oriented members of the siblings. According to preview clips and reporting surrounding the trailer, Lydia appears to confront family members with difficult questions about loyalty, faith, and the future direction of their relationships. While exact details about the upcoming episodes remain limited ahead of the premiere, the footage strongly suggests that some family members may be reaching a point where compromises are no longer possible. At the same time, the evolving relationship between Kim and Barry Plath remains an important storyline. Following their separation, both parents have been navigating new chapters of their lives while still maintaining connections with their children. For a family that once presented itself as unified around shared principles, those changes have inevitably created new emotional complexities. Producers at TLC have emphasized that the upcoming season will explore how each family member processes those changes differently, and that includes how they define family moving forward. Reality television experts often point out that long-running family series tend to evolve in ways that mirror real life. The longer the cameras stay on, the more likely it becomes that viewers will witness genuine life transitions rather than carefully constructed storylines. In the case of Welcome to Plathville, analysts say the show's appeal lies precisely in that authenticity. Unlike competition-based reality series where the narrative resets every season, the Plath family's story unfolds over time in ways that viewers can follow year after year. Dr. Amanda Lotz, a media scholar known for her research on television culture, has previously noted that family-centered reality programming often resonates because it reflects universal themes: generational conflict, identity formation, and the struggle to reconcile personal beliefs with changing circumstances. Those themes appear to be front and center in the upcoming season. From a media perspective, the series also highlights a broader cultural conversation happening across the United States about parenting styles, religious communities, and the balance between tradition and independence. While some viewers sympathize with the challenges faced by parents trying to maintain their values in a rapidly changing society, others identify more strongly with the Plath children who are seeking greater autonomy. That dynamic has helped keep the show relevant long after its debut. Even before the premiere date was officially confirmed, discussion about Season 8 was already gaining momentum online. Across platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Reddit, fans of Welcome to Plathville have been analyzing every trailer frame and promotional hint released by TLC. Some viewers say they are hopeful the new season will show signs of healing within the family. Others believe the fractures may be too deep to fully repair. Online fan communities have been especially focused on the shifting relationships among the siblings, debating how their individual life choices might reshape the family dynamic moving forward. In many ways, that conversation reflects the same questions the show itself is asking. What happens when the people you love most begin choosing different paths? And can those differences be reconciled? For TLC, the continued popularity of Welcome to Plathville represents something increasingly rare in modern television, a reality series capable of sustaining long-term narrative investment. As streaming platforms compete for attention and viewer habits continue to change, shows that maintain loyal fan bases are particularly valuable. If Season 8 delivers the emotional intensity hinted at in the trailers, it could strengthen the show's position as one of the network's most recognizable family-focused franchises. For the Plath family themselves, however, the implications are more personal. Unlike scripted television, Reality shows document real lives, and the moments captured on camera often become part of the public record. As the new season unfolds, viewers will once again witness the complicated process of a family trying to redefine itself in real time. For many viewers, the enduring appeal of Welcome to Plathville lies not in the drama alone, but in the humanity behind it. The Plath family's story touches on experiences familiar to millions of people, leaving home, challenging expectations, and figuring out how to maintain relationships with loved ones who see the world differently. These are not just television storylines. They are real emotional journeys. And when audiences tune in on March 31st, they won't simply be watching another season premiere. They'll be watching the next chapter in a family's ongoing attempt to navigate change, forgiveness, and the search for common ground. As the countdown to the premiere continues, one thing is clear: Season 8 of Welcome to Plathville is already sparking intense curiosity among longtime viewers and new audiences alike. But the real story will unfold once the episodes begin airing. Will the Plath family find a path toward reconciliation? Or will the ultimatums hinted at in the trailer push the fractures even deeper? That's the question millions of viewers are asking right now. And it's a conversation that will likely continue long after the premiere. If you've been following the Plath family's journey, share your thoughts. What do you think the new season will reveal about the future of this complicated family? And if you want deeper breakdowns, episode analysis, and updates on the biggest reality TV stories, make sure to stay connected. Because the next chapter of Welcome to Plathville is just beginning. To understand why the upcoming season of Welcome to Plathville is generating so much anticipation and so much speculation, you have to go back to the very beginning of the Plath family story. When audiences first met the family, they appeared to represent something almost nostalgic. Parents Kim Plath and Barry Plath were raising their children in a rural setting far removed from the noise of modern American life. Their home in Georgia was portrayed as a place where children played instruments, worked together outdoors, and spent their days surrounded by siblings rather than screens. The family spoke openly about limiting outside influences and encouraging a lifestyle centered on faith, discipline, and family unity. At first glance, the arrangement looked peaceful, almost idyllic. But reality television has a way of revealing deeper layers over time, and slowly, season by season, viewers began to see that the Plath family's lifestyle was not just unconventional, it was also deeply restrictive for some of the children growing up inside it. As the older siblings entered adulthood, many began questioning the rules that had defined their upbringing. And that questioning would eventually change everything. The moment the family dynamic began to shift. The earliest cracks in the family structure appeared when Ethan Plath, the oldest son prominently featured on the show, married Olivia Plath. Their relationship quickly became one of the most closely watched dynamics on the series. Olivia, who also came from a conservative religious background, gradually began speaking about her experiences navigating the Plath family environment. Over time, she described feeling that certain family expectations were difficult to live within, especially when it came to boundaries, independence, and personal decision-making. Those tensions did not stay private. Instead, they unfolded on national television. Viewers watched as disagreements between Olivia and some members of the Plath family escalated into emotionally charged conversations that would ripple across multiple seasons. At the same time, Ethan himself appeared caught between two worlds: his loyalty to the family he grew up with, and his commitment to the partner he had chosen. For many fans of the show, these moments marked the point where Welcome to Plathville transformed from a curiosity about an unconventional lifestyle into something much more emotionally complex. It became a story about identity, about independence, and about the difficulty of redefining family relationships when long-standing beliefs are challenged. The next generation steps into the spotlight. As the series progressed, attention gradually shifted to other members of the Plath siblings, particularly Micah Plath and Moriah Plath. Both siblings began exploring life beyond the rural environment where they were raised. Micah pursued opportunities in the modeling industry, moving to larger cities and experiencing a lifestyle dramatically different from the one depicted in the early seasons of the show. Moriah, meanwhile, began pursuing music and carving out a public identity that often embraced creative expression and independence. For viewers, these journeys represented something deeply relatable. The process of leaving home, the excitement and uncertainty of discovering who you are outside the expectations that shaped your childhood. But these transitions also created emotional distance within the family, because every step toward independence also raised new questions. Could the Plath siblings maintain close relationships if their lives and values were heading in very different directions? That question would become even more complicated as events within the family itself began to change. The marriage that shook the foundation. Perhaps the most surprising turning point in the history of Welcome to Plathville came when Kim Plath and Barry Plath announced their separation. For years, the couple had presented themselves as partners united by shared beliefs about parenting, faith, and family structure. Their relationship formed the backbone of the lifestyle viewers saw in the early seasons. So when news of their separation emerged in 2022, it sent shockwaves through the show's audience. Suddenly, the central pillar of the Plath family identity was no longer stable. For the children, many of whom had been raised in a home that emphasized the importance of lifelong marriage, the announcement raised complicated emotions. Viewers watched as different siblings processed the change in different ways. Some appeared supportive of their parents moving forward with their individual lives. Others struggled to reconcile the separation with the values they had grown up hearing about. And that emotional complexity is one of the reasons the upcoming season is drawing so much attention. In the years since their separation, both Kim and Barry Plath have begun exploring new chapters in their lives. For Kim, that shift has included stepping into experiences that viewers of the early seasons might never have expected. Reports and footage from later episodes showed her spending time away from the farm and exploring different personal interests as she adjusted to a life outside the structure that defined her marriage for decades. Barry, meanwhile, has continued maintaining close relationships with several of the children while navigating the emotional aftermath of the separation. For the Plath siblings, these changes have forced them to confront difficult questions about what family means now. The home environment that once defined their childhood is no longer the same, and the relationships they built within that environment are evolving in ways that can be both painful and transformative. That reality appears to form the emotional backbone of the upcoming season, because according to early trailers and reporting surrounding the March 31st premiere, the new episodes will focus heavily on the idea that every member of the family is now facing a moment of decision. Some want to hold on to the past. Others are determined to move forward. And when those perspectives collide, the results can be explosive. The ultimatum moment. One of the most talked about elements of the Season 8 trailer involves Lydia Plath. Throughout the earlier seasons of the show, Lydia was often portrayed as one of the most devoted members of the family when it came to maintaining the values she grew up with. She frequently spoke about faith, responsibility, and the importance of family unity. But the trailer for the new season suggests that even Lydia may now be reaching a point where difficult conversations can no longer be avoided. Clips appear to show her confronting family members about the direction their relationships are taking. While the full context of those moments will only become clear once the episodes air, the emotional tone of the footage suggests that the discussion may involve some form of ultimatum. For fans of the series, that possibility carries enormous weight. Because an ultimatum, by definition, means a choice must be made. And in a family already dealing with years of unresolved tension, those choices could reshape relationships permanently. Why viewers are so invested. Part of the reason Welcome to Plathville has remained a topic of conversation for so many seasons is that the